Peace and love. Make sure we got our sound rolling. All right. If y'all can hear me, throw one in the chat just so I can make sure my volume is good. All right. Let me see here. Boom. So, family, tonight we have an excellent show. We're going to be sharing some very interesting information. As you can see, we have a title of this show is called "Who is Yahweh?" Right? And is Yahweh God? So just know that this is going to be maybe a little controversial for some, but we need to know these things. There's a lot of conversations dealing with Israelites, Hebrew Israelites, Moors, the Bible, the Quran, history, biblical historicity, etc. So, what I want to do without being too long, let me share my screen here, y'all. All right. So, we're going to go right in. We're not even going to waste any time. All right. So, we're going to go into the foundations, the beginning of Yahweh. Where does Yahweh come from? Who is Yahweh? Is Yahweh God? Is Yahweh the God? Is Yahweh the Most High God? Where did Yahweh come from? So if y'all have any questions, I'm opening up my chat here. Please stop me, ask any questions so that I can elaborate, etc. So let's look here. Yahweh was originally a deity worshipped by Midianites, or people known as Kenites, in the northwest Arabian desert at some point. The worship of Yahweh, was borrowed by the Israelites and Judahites, who eventually adopted the deity as their national and still later as their only God. All right, so if you're just getting in, you didn't catch that, I'm going to read it one more time because I want to make sure that we're clear, setting the precedence for what it is that we're doing here. Now, if you're not interested in scholarship, if you're not interested in truth, this is not the place for you. Moorish Diaspora is dedicated to bringing you truth, first of all, um, in a loving manner, right? We're also here to foster peace, right? Because we're here because we love our freedom and we are about justice. And to start, you have to have that love and again, that truth. So we're going to bring the truth here. So again, we're going to read this part. Yahweh was originally a deity worshipped by Midianites or Kenites in the northwest Arabian desert at some point. The worship of Yahweh was borrowed by the Israelites and Judahites, who eventually adopted the deity as their national and still later as their only God. So we can see here, at least so far, we know that the deity known as Yahweh is borrowed from the Midianites. Borrowed from the people known as the Kenites. But it's going to get more interesting. It's going to get more interesting, family. All right. So let's take a look at this next slide. Remember, title of the show is Who is Yahweh? Is Yahweh God? So, as we just spoke in the first slide, we talked about that the Israelites borrowed Yahweh from the Midianites, also known as the Kenites. So here it says the Kenite Midianite hypothesis is a scholarly theory that suggests the deity Yahweh was originally worshipped by the Kenites and Midianites in the northwest Arabian desert and was later adopted by the Israelites and Judahites as their national god. The hypothesis is supported by archaeological and etymological data, as well as biblical and extra biblical sources. What are some of these extra biblical sources that we're speaking of? As you can see down below, you can kind of see some of them. You see the University of Chicago, Yahweh before Israel, glimpses of history in a divine name. You also see another source here, discourse on Minerva, the origins of Yahweh, the Canaanite Midianite hypothesis, and you can also go to Wikipedia to find more sources dealing with the Canaanite hypothesis. So again, source up, family. This cannot be basically refuted. I challenge anyone to bring information that shows otherwise. So let's continue. Because again, like I said, I'm not going to be too long with this one. The last one we did was an hour and a half. That was a couple hours ago. So we're going to keep this one light. All right. So did Canaanites believe in Yahweh? According to Amzalag, long before becoming the deity of the Israelites, Yahweh was a god of metallurgy. In the ancient Canaanite pantheon, worshipped by smelters and metalworkers throughout the Levant, not just by the Hebrews. Excuse me, throat's a little dry. But now my spring water ready to go. So again here, y'all, and you can see the source. Jewish God Yahweh originated in Canaanite Vulcan, says New Theory. So this is another source that is basically sharing with us that the Israelites, before they identified with the deity known as Yahweh, that in Canaan, Yahweh was worshipped, in the same way that a lot of people will have like a patron saint of various types of work, labor, if you will. So the laborers around metallurgy or metalworking throughout Canaan worshipped Yahweh as their God. So this is prior to the Hebrews adopting Yahweh. So I wanted this to be clear so we don't have any misconceptions. Our next slide, what is the origin of Yahweh? So it is generally accepted in the modern day, however, that Yahweh originated in southern Canaan as a lesser god in the Canaanite pantheon and the Shasu, as nomads most likely acquired their worship of him during their time in the Levant. Okay, so this is again giving us more insight into not only where Yahweh comes from, how people identified and worshiped Yahweh before the time of the Israelites. So this is very key. Again, let me see. I want to make sure there's no questions in the chat. If y'all have questions, please stop me. I will go deeper into anything you need me to. Okay. I'm going to skip past this because that's not the slide I needed. I'm going to go here. Okay. So, through no consensus exists regarding the deity's origins, scholars generally contend that Yahweh is associated with Seir, Edom, Paran, and Teman, and later with Canaan. So even before Canaan, you can see that all of these people were already associated with the origins of Yahweh. Furthermore, the origins of his worship reach at least to the early Iron Age. Remember, taking it back to metallurgy, and likely to the late Bronze Age, if not somewhat earlier. That being said, let's back it up, and we can see right here where it says Yahweh is associated with Edom. This is the same self as those who are identified as the Edomites, and many so-called Hebrew Israelites um, identify Edom or the Edomites as the European. However, this is not the case. That is not a fact. You have your facts incorrect. And we can address that at another level, another day, if someone wants to challenge this information. And again, I welcome any challenger to this. But as we can see, again, let's take it a little bit further. That's a great question. So if you're just getting in, uh, who is Yahweh? Okay, is Yahweh God? We've been on for about 23 minutes, and actually, I had it playing for a few minutes while I got ready. But as you can see here, why don't Jews use the name Yahweh? Hebrew script is an abjad, so that the letters in the name are normally consonants, usually expanded as Yahweh in English. Modern rabbinical Jewish culture judges it forbidden to pronounce this name. In prayers, it is replaced by the word Adonai. Okay? And that's really it. So it's just telling you that certain people, depending on their station within the Jewish religion, may or may not use the name. It may replace it with another name. So let's go a little bit deeper. Again, I don't think I'm going to be too much longer, but I'm just going to go through these slides. And again, if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. I'll be glad to deal with those questions. So who is the father of Yahweh? Now, this was interesting when I came across this when I was doing my research for this particular piece of show. El. So El was the supreme god of the Canaanites. As head god, El was married to Asherah, and he was the father of Baal, Anat, Yahweh, and Yam. He was often seen in the form of a bull, and he was sometimes also referred to as Shor El, the bull god. Sounds like Baal. But Baal is one of Yahweh's brothers, to be more specific. And if you were to do a little more research, I'm not sure if I have a slide that's covering this, but you will see that most of the deities of that time descend in some way, shape, or form from El. And El's counterpart or wife, Asherah, is also listed in other forms as being the cohort or wife of many other deities. So again, if Yahweh was the supreme deity, would he have a father? It's a great question. I'm going to leave that up to you guys, but I just wanted to show you this. If he was the supreme, then he wouldn't be begat. So we have to be careful of how we identify deities, especially in monotheistic culture of religion. Because as we see here, that's not really the case. And the fact that Yahweh has a wife shows that Yahweh is not alone. right? So let's go a little bit deeper. Let me see here. Hey, hey, hold on one second. Elijah, you almost closed my hand. My apologies. That was my babies came into the room, busted in the door a little bit, but it's all good. Sounds like one of them just fell. Um, let's see here. So El, as we just discovered, is Yahweh's father, and so when we look at El, transliteration from Hebrew, it says generic word for God. Okay, but it means God in many different languages. Let's because remember we're talking about Yahweh, the Hebrew God, and we just discovered that Yahweh has a father. His father's name is El, and so now we're just gonna look a little bit deeper into El to get a better understanding of how the Hebrews identified El. As you can see here, El-Ah or Allah, transliteration from Hebrew is Allah. Hmm. Okay. So let's continue to dig, family. Let's see what we find. Hmm. El Elohe Yisrael, transliteration from Hebrew, meaning literally El, the God of Israel. So hold on. I thought Yahweh was the God of Israel, but El is the father of Yahweh, and El is the God of Israel. So are Hebrew Israelites monotheistic or polytheistic, or have they mistakenly overlaid two deities, mistaking them as the same deity? Because El is not Yahweh. Yahweh is not El. El begat Yahweh according to the historical pantheon of these deities from Canaan. So let's let's see if we can dig a little bit deeper. El Elyon, transliteration from Hebrew, meaning Most High God. So again, in all of these translations, the different titles for God, Most High God, the God of Israel, it's all been in reference to El and not Yahweh. This is very interesting. So I'm hoping y'all see this. Again, the chat's open. I don't see any questions. I see a lot of people coming in the chat, stopping in. But maybe this is just making sense. Maybe I'm providing clarity. If I am, uh, I give thanks. Um, but I do welcome all questions uh, on this topic. So, Elohim is also Allah. So let's try to read this here. A name of God in the Bible, 1600 from Hebrew. So this is Elohim, of Elo, God, cognate with Allah, a word of unknown etymology, perhaps an augmentation of El. It's not perhaps, it is, or God. Also of unknown origin. Just because it is so old, it can be attested for going back at least 9,000 years is some of the oldest archaeological evidence for a deity that exists. Um, Generally taken as singular, the use of the word instead of Yahweh is taken by biblical scholars as an important clue to authorship in the Old Testament. Hence, Elohist, let's see, title of the supposed, what was I say, writer, of passage of the Pentateuch, where the word is used. Okay, so as you can see here, this is breaking down El, personal name, name of deity. Let's see, appellation, common noun, general term, a god. It's just saying that El means God. Excuse me. In Genesis 33:20, El, the God of Israel, as we just touched, I believe that's Elion. There, it wasn't Elion's. I'll back it up. There he erected an altar and called it El Elohe Israel. That is God, the God of Israel. So there it is, actually. And then Genesis 46:3, El, the God of your father. Wow. Then he said, I am God, the God of your father. So, family, let me see. I might have another slide here, but let me make sure. If not, I'll go ahead and recap. So hopefully you guys were able to check the whole demonstration. If not, please back it up. I don't think I need to go any further. I pretty much made my point here. The whole point of this was to find out who is Yahweh. Is Yahweh God? And I believe what we found here when going through these slides, we ended up discovering that Yahweh is the son of El. Okay? One of the sons of El. Yahweh is not the supreme deity, not the supreme being. Not only that, is that Yahweh was just not only worshipped by the Canaanites or the Midianites, but also by the Edomites. Well, many of our Hebrew Israelite brothers, again, claim to be the European. Again, I will take any debate on that from anybody who feels that that is the case. I'll be glad to entertain that so that we can get it going. We can do it historically, biblically, however you want to mix it up. But with that, family, it's been another episode. This channel is looking for more support from the people. We are looking to give the people more information, provide more information like this. If you've received this information before, let me know. Is this old information? If it's new information, let me know. Hopefully, I've shared something today that has piqued some interest, that has maybe shed some light on a topic of interest for you. Just let us know. Give us some feedback. That way we can respond and give the people what they want. Because really, that's what I want to do. I have a lot of information I can share. However, I don't just want to share information blindly. I want to share things that not only be interesting, but also be helpful, that people can use in real life, applicable solutions. Although this is not technically a solution-based topic, this is also a topic dealing with what we're taught, what we're indoctrinated with, information that we're just given to eat and take blindly without really doing any research and really knowing the true origins of these things. So with that family, I'll say peace and love. Definitely check us out the next time. Please like, subscribe, support in any way possible, I'm going to quickly throw up our Cash App. So if you want to support, if you would like information like this, you want more information like this, this is the only channel that's going to tell you who Yahweh really is, and is Yahweh God. So if you didn't catch the information, please go back, check what we ended up putting down, and let us know what you thought. Peace.